All right, good evening. Welcome to Clover Garden School board meeting, July 15th. I'm calling the meeting to order at 6:33. Can you give me the roll, please?
Roll the board. We are entrusted to care for the current school and stay focused on the vision for the future school. And no trust, no unity, no progress. Mission of Clover Garden School. Clover Garden School will foster community, generate enthusiasm, challenge students academically, and produce successful citizens.
Thank you. So everyone should have a chance to look at the agenda. We do have a couple of corrections that we're going to add to the agenda tonight. There's two items: addendum to our parent and student handbook, and also revised curriculum amendment. So we're going to make a change to the agenda tonight. Do I have a motion to approve the revised agenda? Ms. Merle, second. Ms. Gould, all in favor? Thank you. Next thing is our minutes, June 23rd minutes. I hope everyone has had a chance to review those minutes. Any comments, changes, any concerns? I'd like to make a motion to approve these minutes. Mr. Young, second. Ms. Morrow, all in favor? Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
No, sir.
Tonight? Yes, thank you. So no special guests, no finances, no academics. And next is old business. We're going to start with our safety plan.
So that's just the update. It is being updated. And more information will be coming soon about that now that we have faculty and staff coming back in the building. We are working to create our crisis teams at both campuses. So more details to come. And we did, I'll add to that. There are also several updates to safety and security. We did share some of those updates with our families over the weekend. We have several installations and things like that coming soon with the funds that we were awarded for our safety grant. So really excited about some of those additional safety features that are coming soon, that some of our families will see installed and implemented very soon. I had a great conversation with the Alamance County Sheriff's Department. So there's going to be some more partnership work taking place between us and the county, just further preparing our faculty and staff and students for, worst case crisis type scenarios.
Okay. All right. So the next thing is the charter renewal.
Let's move this. I'll have to stand up. Okay. So charter renewals, so just kind of updates there. Thank you for voting last month on the 3 amendments that we have to put into or try to get approval for with the Office of Charter Schools and with the State Board of Education. There is one of those kind of leads into the next one. So those 2 are ready to go. Thank you, Ms. Jackson, for the minutes. All of that stuff has to be uploaded and approved. So we're waiting on that. Their goal is to have that on the August agenda for the State Board of Education. So kind of waiting on some of those to go through with the expulsion policy, the mission statement, and then the last one was the curriculum updates. So this is one thing that I did just kind of make a slight change to. So you guys voted on that last time. That was great. But we did kind of make a little bit of an adjustment because I contacted the Office of Charter Schools and she gave me some feedback in regards to the curriculum updates. We were not using, this is just to kind of refresh your memory. This one was the one where we're using core knowledge. We don't use that curriculum anymore. We use iReady, we use Amplify, we use things that are provided by the state programming type things. And so I wanted it to be vague enough so it could kind of morph and change with us over time. And then the Office of Charter Schools was like, you can, but I do want you to be a little bit more specific in regards to some of your programming. So if you look in the board folder, that addendum, or I just would like to replace the curriculum amendment that you guys voted on in June with this one, just because this is, straight from feedback from the Office of Charter Schools, which in my opinion, I think we'll have a little better of a chance kind of getting that passed through based on their guidance. So this one, like I said, we're still kind of keeping it vague so we can kind of move and shake as different research-based programming and stuff comes down the pike. So we can still kind of pick and choose what we use, but it does center around iReady and Amplify, which are our 2 biggest programs that we use K-12 really. So that's what I would just want to vote on is the amendment to the curriculum so that we can get that updated. And that's kind of per the guidance from our charter school renewal visit.
And that's just the read
So
That's
if you
it,
look in
that
that
one
document that's in your
for
folder,
that one
look at
paragraph?
the italicized part right here in the middle.
Okay,
The only thing I added to that you guys is different from last time was where it says, right here, second one, this italicized piece right here at the bottom. It says, materials, it's the last sentence. Materials and programming our school will utilize includes, but is not limited to, so I was trying to use the right verb
Right.
there, to the Already diagnostic and assessment program by curriculum associates and amplify reading and math programs. So we are already using this and have been using this for a while,
Yeah.
but when we did the renewal, this is where they wanted us to be a little more specific, because our charter from 2001 spoke to core knowledge, and that's not what we're using. It is a really cool opportunity, just I'm getting off a little sidebar here. But being a charter school, you have flexibility with the curriculum that you use, which is a really cool feature. So maybe down the road, it may be something for us to kind of continue diving into. And this, if we decide to change it again down the road, then this was kind of how you do that, how you go in there and make those changes and updates.
the last, the replaced with, is that another amendment? Or
Nope,
is that
not
already
that,
been-
the same.
Okay,
So the red line piece that you see that's on there, I didn't change any of that.
Okay, okay.
That is where you see the original, that's what the old, application looks like from 2001.
Right.
And then that's kind of marked out, and then this will match that section.
okay,
And those have been already submitted.
No, not these.
Not that,
Mm-mm, not this one. So we had 3 we needed to submit, and so I've kind of been hanging on because I kind of was waiting for this feedback first.
Okay.
Mhm. You want to vote on that, or you want me to kind of move on to the next one and just come back?
Yeah, just, yeah, move on to that. I'll
Okay.
come back to it.
The only other thing that I need is, so thank you so much for voting on the student parent handbook. That got out last month, which is fantastic. We've had a lot of parents and families already reading through that, combing through that, kind of being prepared for the new school year. The only thing we tried, and I can't say this is gonna be the last thing, but I hope it is, out of that whole book, we found one thing we forgot. And we had a beautiful grading scale for our middle and high school, but we forgot the elementary one. So we had several parents say, hey, what is it? So that didn't change. We didn't make any amendments to that. There are some groups that are working within the school where they may want to update that later, but they have not done the research on that yet. So you guys have already seen some of our staff come to the meetings and present different grading scale changes, but we are not changing elementary. We just forgot to transfer it over. So it's just missing. So nothing's different. It just needs to be added to the handbook. And then promotion retention standards, that little blurb right there, that has to do with RTA, with retention for 3rd graders. That's where we don't have jurisdiction. That's a state law. So those are the only 2 pieces. The K-5 grading scale, we forgot to transfer over. And then the promotion retention standards, just reminding families that 3rd graders by law, if they don't meet certain criteria, they can be held back. So again, hopefully we didn't miss anything else with that whole transfer of information, but those were the 2 pieces that was brought to our attention.
Is that all for the old business? So the only thing we need to vote for is the addendum to the parent student handbook? Or we gotta do both?
If we can have 2 separate votes, that would be great, because this one will be to update the handbook, and then this one will be for me to update the curriculum amendment that I submit.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions on either items? So with that, need to make a motion for approving the addendum to the parent student handbook. Ms. Merle, second. Let's go, all in favor. And the next thing we need to vote on, make a motion to approve the revised curriculum amendment. Ms. Merle made a motion, second. Mr. Young, all in favor? Okay, that takes us into our governance. So we'll go through some committee updates. I realize some committees have not formed all the way completely yet, but I still like to just go through the updates for the time being. So governance.
governance
Yep.
will
Carl.
be diving directly into the internal controls immediately, but we will get to that before the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Finance chair. Back.
There was no update on that one. We're good right now.
Okay. Academics.
No updates at this time.
Okay. Long range planning, at this time, we don't have any updates. We're still working on the multi-purpose building. Still going through the design process. the permitting process. So that's the only update that I have. As far as the long range planning goes. Fundraisings, chairs, we still have that to be announced. That's still in the works. And then of course our 25th anniversary tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm ready.
You ready?
Where's gas and members? Let's go.
All righty. That takes us into the staff handbook. Breaking.
We'll tag team this one with the lovely Miss Simmons over there. So as you guys, I told you guys this last time, legal gave us two templates. One is the student parent handbook that you guys have already seen, and we kind of molded that to fit Clover Garden School. This next one is our staff handbook, which I think tripled in size, because a lot of the policies, procedural type things that some of that was already in our policies and procedures manual. Legal said, hey, move it, put it here in our staff handbook so you can refer to that. And so that is why that is a massive document. That one was hard to do some type of red line too, because it was completely different than the original version. So next year when we do updates over the summer, we can red line it and have the updates there. We're hoping that this major overhaul, there won't be but minimal things next year. But you know, as Ms. Simmons mentioned last time, legal is constantly, you know, sending us emails with updates and things like that, with new policy updates and things of that nature. So the administrative team combed through this book, tried to transfer everything over. So everything that was in our old handbook transferred over to the new handbook. And then some of that, just to be truthfully transparent, the legals version was way better, you know, than the version that we had. So it gives us a little bit more confidence in standing on what's in this handbook. So it's very in depth. Like, so I'm excited for our staff to see this book, but also I can very much see how it will be very overwhelming for the staff to see this book. So this is going to be an opportunity for us to kind of hit the highlights with them as to, you know, these are things that they may not have even known was in the policies and procedures, but now they're here. So Ms. Simmons, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Braden, and I just want to say, I just like to thank the whole admin team, number one, because it took hours and hours and multiple meetings, and I really appreciate everybody's feedback and doing everything. So y'all have seen the summary, or if you have the opportunity to see the summary, and that, to Ms. Braden's point, really hit some of the highlights of stuff that maybe we didn't even have in there, that now, you know, legal has that we have to put in there now. So we are still updating, but some of the updates does not require a vote, like where we're updating links for benefits, we're updating links for the nurses corner and the nurses information and things like that. They're small minor things, and we have not formatted it yet because we're still adding on. So that's why I kind of did a summary for y'all a little bit. We can do this however you want to. I can just open it up for questions, or I can go through some of the things.
Just not to interrupt you, but don't look at the table of contents. That is the last thing we update.
Yeah.
When you come to any manuals, because as soon as you shift something, it moves something to another page, you get a little frustrated. So don't look at the table of contents. Some of that stuff won't stay there. Some of that stuff will be deleted because it was sections we didn't need or didn't apply to us.
So do y'all have any questions of anything? Yes, sir.
Well, first of all, I mean, just draft 2, replace draft 1. I'm just assuming.
Yeah, that's
10 pages difference.
What's the?
She didn't.
I added the 10 benefits.
So it's draft 1 plus draft 2.
So basically, draft 1 was kind of the one that we put in there to begin with. The draft 2 is just some of those things that we went through and said, okay, now that we've got this, the bulk of everything from legal in there, let's take our current one and filter in some things that we know that fits Clover Garden. So that's really the only difference. It's something that we had in there before, and then we just kind of added. So you might get a draft 3, 4, and 5. I promise you'll get a final eventually. But if like I said, if y'all have any questions, and this breaking point, it went from 21 pages to 142 some now. So it is a massive overhaul. But a lot of it's out of our hands. And so I was a little bit thankful for that, to be honest, you know, with all of those legislation changes, a lot of the federal changes as well, verbiage that we have to have in there, for all of the federal funding that we receive. So anyways, I'll just open it up for questions. I'll leave it at that. And I'll be glad to answer. And if I can't answer, I promise I'll I'll get back with you.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of information for sure.
It is, and it's a smaller pool of people, you know, than the parent and the student handbook, where there's a lot more.
So would you, would you consider the summary as kind of like the big ticket items?
For the most part, yes.
Okay.
Stuff that maybe was not even in there before and is now, and then if it was in there, we had a very condensed version. And that's now we have to put in kind of a non-condensed version, basically. And like I said, everybody sitting here in this grade was all had that we got their input and things that they maybe wanted to update or change or like, no, that's not really gonna apply to our school. You know, they've done a really good job with that.
You got any questions? Comments?
I will just comment that there was a lot that our staff handbook. I don't want to say was missing, but it wasn't unintentionally left out. Just a lot of things have changed and things need to be added. So, you know, yeah, it went from 30 pages to 142, but this is stuff that's truly needs to be in an employee handbook and cover us where we had zero coverage and zero knowledge before. It's kind of one of those, you don't know what you don't know until it shows up and it's 142 pages long.
And some of these changes, honestly, like, to your point, they're duplicated. So
Yeah.
we had them in the policy and procedure. But this is more of your hands-on, the staff has that in their rooms, or, you know, that's more accessible to them, without the policy and procedures is the big manual, you know, so some of it was duplicated, absolutely.
What I like from this version of the staff handbook compared to having the other one for many, many years, this one really is most current. So some of the issues that we came across and heard about and in the community of just charters in general. I think this one, back to what I said earlier, will protect us more
Right.
because it's meatier. I don't know how else to describe it, but there's more, there's more substantiality, like substantiality. I don't know the right word, but we can stand on this.
Sustenance.
It does.
Yes.
It is. There you
Probably
go.
built on some lessons learned.
Exactly.
Exactly.
There are some
It's
specific
lesson
things
learned.
in here, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that is for, you know, something that has happened over time, and
And nobody had a policy.
that's
for it.
right.
Yep.
That's
And-
exactly right.
It's
now
there,
everybody.
there's a reason for why it's there, happen.
Yeah. So that was something that we did notice when we were reading through this further.
They have guns back in 2000.
No, they did
Right.
not. Exactly.
They
Exactly.
didn't have AI. I mean, that's coming
Yeah.
more and more and more, so.
Mhm. Mhm.
So if y'all don't have any questions or anything, and again, if y'all go back and look, you know, later or whatever, and if you have something, please reach out, I'll be glad to explain anything. But if y'all have any questions or anything, Chad, I'll just appreciate it.
Well, I noticed, we discussed this last board meeting on the parent handbook or acknowledgement. So we're gonna do the same.
We do have a form every year that the staff has to sign, that
Right.
they've read and received the staff handbook, policy and procedures, new code of conduct, and the State Board of Education Code of Conduct. I think it's those three things.
And this one has a version of that in the very, very back.
Right.
Okay.
But they do have to sign a form that we keep up with that makes sure that everyone acknowledges this stuff.
Okay. And I don't, something might be helpful down the road, like a frequently asked questions. Something that you might want to consider, put like an appendix like at the end, kind of like a cheat sheet, you know, it's like, what's the most common question about this? Instead of just kind of reading the policy, you know. That's something that you may want to consider down the road, not right now, but I find that very, very helpful. With all kinds of policies that I've seen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And student parent handbook, something
Correct.
too, on the website.
Right. Yeah, like a FAQ kind of thing.
So AI will create that for you.
Sure will.
Yeah.
There's that AI.
There you go.
Do we have a policy for that?
They'll pull out all the
Just go ahead and prompt AI to do it for you right now. Okay. Well, thank you all for putting all that together. I know that was a huge effort. Yeah, so, all right, so we'll go ahead. I need a motion to approve the staff handbook. Ms. Merle, second. Let's go. All in favor? All right, that leads us into closed session. General statutes 143 18.11 A 1 and 5.